Take your place on my wall of fame by supporting me. Thank you, my nerd. My dear nerds, let's make a trade deal. You watch this video and you feed me that delicious watch time, and in return, I shall open your eyes to proper emulation, which will make you emulate things differently and more efficiently, probably for the rest of your life. You see, I've given hints here and there in other videos that I prefer game streaming over solutions like Winlater, which I'm personally not a fan of. I assume you know the latest scandal. They found a malware there, and because it's closed source, I have a huge problem with that. And the developer of Winlater decided to take a break from development. A lot of people are sad over that, but I would actually argue that there is a way more elegant solution out there, which isn't really expensive if you factor in the benefits that you get. You see, game streaming can be achieved and everyone can have access to it for the similar price of arguably an Iron Odin 2 portal. This, my dear nerds, is a GMKTec K6, or how I like to call it, the best bang for the buck mini PC when it comes to satisfying the holy triad, my personal holy triad of power consumption, performance, and cheapness, because I'm a cheap bastard. Let nobody tell you otherwise. But before I continue, I just want to throw a quick disclaimer out of the way. This mini PC, at my request, was provided to me by the cool guys at AliExpress. But even though they sent this to me, they didn't see this video beforehand. No money exchanged hands. All words here are my own. You're gonna hear a lot of passion because this will turn as my personal gaming cloud server inside my own house. So here's the TLDR of what's about to happen. I will show you how to take a mini PC like this one and create a cloud gaming server where you can play all your PC games on all your devices. You might or might not have a lot of devices around the house. You might be one of my nerds that has 1 million handhelds by this point. Well, this setup will empower you to play PC games on even the most potato of your handhelds. And your phone as well. You can take your cheap freaking phone like this one and play Crysis on it. You can take a tablet. You can take your nice handhelds like the Retroid Pocket 5 or Iron Odin 2 Portal or whatever you have and enhance it, basically. Every PC game that you imagine and every emulation scenario will be unlocked for all of your devices. I am gonna make 2 videos for this mini PC. This one will be with Windows and Sunshine, and I will show you how to leverage this. You will be able to emulate everything, and you will be able to have save states synchronized across your devices. You won't have to use hacks like syncing or any others, because all your saves will be stored on this bad boy, which will stream the games on any other device that you have in the house. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I want to present you the GMKTec K6 and why I love this. First off, this is the cheapest mini PC that you can find with the Radeon 780M iGPU, meaning that we need as good of an iGPU as possible for as cheap of a price as possible, and that's what the K6 accomplishes. This is packing a Ryzen 7840HS APU, and this is actually so good of an APU that it was repackaged in the 8000 generation of Ryzen APUs as well. If you look at the Ryzen 8040 APU, it's basically just a repackaged version of the 7840HS APU, which we have in this bad boy. But because it's the previous generation, aka the 7000 series Ryzen, it's actually considerably cheaper than almost any 8000 Ryzen that you have out there. For reference, this mini PC right here, this specific K6, is packing 32 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte of storage, and it's around $500 through the link in my video description. And you might say, Vlad, this is actually not cheap. Are you okay? Are you sick? Like, what's wrong with you? Perspective, my dear nerds. An Iron Odin Portal 2 Maxed Out, which is an Android handheld, is at a similar price with this. You need to understand that this allows you to basically open the barriers of performance to any device that you have, or you can even use it as a standalone thing. And in terms of mini PCs, it's actually pretty dirt cheap, especially considering the fact that it has a poop ton of RAM and a ton of performance. Of course, I should probably say you can use this like a normal person for productivity. You can do your work on it. You can, be a nice adult and do your adult stuff like taxes on it. But that's not what I'm gonna show you on this channel. Not right now. I'm gonna show you the fun stuff. Here we have Windows 11 installed. So what I propose to you is we test the gaming capacity of this and we test the streaming capacity of this. We're gonna install an application called Sunshine and an application called Moonlight on basically any client device that we have, so that we empower that device to play everything from Crysis to Bioshock to GTA 5 to emulated PS2 to emulated whatever you want, because we have the freaking performance. So that's the premise of the video. But before I go on, I'm going a bit too fast here. Let's check the GMKTec K6 on. First of all, a quick unboxing. You're gonna receive, I would say, the bare minimum with this mini PC, but you really don't need more than this. You're gonna have this tiny letter box with manuals. You can read them if you want. I really don't think that you have a reason to. And then you will find the mini PC itself, the power supply cable, an HDMI cord, which is pretty nice to have always, and some brackets if you want to fix it to the back of your monitor so it's out of sight and out of mind, which is always pretty nice. Oh, and also a little screwdriver. How awesome is this? In terms of I/O, this is packing way more than I expected. We have a combo headphone jack for microphone or headphones, a Type-C port, which you can also use for iGPU. You can connect an external video card to this to basically put the performance on steroids. We have two 3.2 USB ports, which are high speed. You can connect these to SSDs and other cool stuff like that. Another high speed USB port here. A USB 2 port for some reason, which I don't understand. An HDMI port, a display port, 2 network ports. This is good for people who want to create servers, to use this as a server. And I'm not a fan of this. They used a barrel jack for power. They could have used a USB-C, but nothing in this life is perfect. You're not perfect, let's face it. I'm not perfect. No, but your cat is not perfect. No matter how much you love it, she's not perfect. She probably pees outside of the litter tray, like mine does. This PC, however, doesn't pee outside of the litter tray, and it has adequate cooling as well. You won't see it overheat. That's why it's a bit bigger than other mini PCs. For a reference, this is a cheapo N100 Intel mini PC that I have, which has a fraction of the performance of this one. This is good if you want to have a very basic PC around the house, like an NAS or something, but this one is packing a ton of power. And just like anyone would tell you, size does matter, especially when it comes to mini PCs. You don't want thermal throttling. You don't want any of that drama. The fact that this mini PC has ample room for cooling is a huge benefit to me. And another thing that I love about it is the idle power consumption. You see, I hate, my dear nerds, the idea of having to turn on the PC just to use it as a cloud gaming server. No, it needs to be always on. I might go out and about. I might want to access it to play some outside of my network. And for that, I need to know that when it's in standby, or when it's in idle, or rather, it doesn't cost me an arm and a leg in terms of electricity. The idle consumption for this PC in particular is at around 5 watts, maybe 7 watts, maybe 10 if you connect a lot of things to it, but it's actually so good when it comes to idle power consumption that it's perfect. You can use this, you can have it plugged in 24/7, guilt-free, and you shouldn't feel bad about it. It will handle the job perfectly. So, I can yammer on and on about it, but when it comes to what it can do, my dear nerds, this can play, I would say, up to 2018 games. Of course, it can do even more modern games than that, but you will have to adjust the settings. Here's me playing The Witcher 3 on medium. I am averaging around 50 to 55 FPS, which I think is playable enough, and it's at full HD resolution. Here I have a bit of BioShock. This is the remastered version. I have some, I think, is Inside an indie game? I'm not sure. Anyway, I have Inside here, which is maxed out because that's how I freaking roll. And of course, when it comes to emulation, you can emulate, simply put, almost everything. Here's me maxing out PS2 emulation with PCSX2, the Windows version. I have everything at full HD, I have shaders on. Basically, I went bananas in the graphics settings there and maxed out everything. It doesn't even sweat. And the most important thing is that you can leverage this emulation capability and stream it to any handheld or any device that you have around the house, be it other laptops, be it your trash phone that you might have, a tablet, a million handhelds in case you're in this scene for a long time. And let's face it, my nerd, you have an addiction just like me. You buy a lot of handhelds, and I think you will love configuring them more than playing them. This is the ultimate configuration thing that you can do. And I think most of the emulation can simply be centralized in a mini PC like this. Hear me out. I know I might have dumped a lot of information here, but this one is very important. When you emulate on a specific device, which then streams to any other device, you will always have perfectly synchronized save states. You can continue playing Need for Speed Underground on another device with no problem whatsoever. You don't have to fiddle with, I would say, hacky workarounds like syncing. I know syncing works. It can be very efficient. It can be a lifesaver even. However, it's really not necessary in such a setup. You can leverage any device where you can have Moonlight installed. This means, wait for it, even low performance handhelds like the Flip, you can have custom firmware. I'm not sure if we have this already, but for most Linux devices, there is custom firmware with Moonlight accessible. You can leverage this and you can literally play Crysis or whatever on a small low performance device like this. Or you can play anything in the Windows world that you can imagine. No. I'm just a girl. Leave me alone. I'm just a peaceful person. I want to negotiate. On any of your Anbernic handhelds or Retroid handhelds or whatever you have around the house. Basically, it liberalizes your devices. It empowers them. You know, these tiny smart cars are very popular in Europe, actually. They consume like 4 liters per 100 kilometers, which is like almost bike level. And I think that's pretty awesome. Of course, they have the handling of a potato, but yeah. You won't have to touch Win Later and other hacky solutions ever again, and I think this is precious. This is such an elegant solution by contrast. And you can use it on 2P connections as well. I've used this around 500 kilometers away from my home via a 4G network. It worked flawlessly at around 25 milliseconds of latency, which is, honest to God, in my humble opinion, unnoticeable. Now, some people might tell me, Vlad, are you crazy? That's like the laggiest thing ever. What are you, an elitist? If you are, still stay subscribed. I love you. However, my peasant eyes wouldn't notice that latency. It's as simple as that. And my dear nerds, for the price of this, that's why I chose this specific model. You might call me a shill, Vlad, where's the bad parts in this? There's no bad parts. This is, in terms of mini PC performance, the holy triad. Low power consumption, cheap price for the performance that you get. So good price to performance, low power consumption, and basically a lot of unlocking possibilities here. Now, in this video, what I showed you was around Windows 11. I've installed Sunshine on this and Moonlight on my devices. If you want more instructions on this, come to my Discord. There's a link in my video description. You can ask me and the community of nerds there, and we will guide you through all of this setup. And it's actually a very easy setup. You next install the Sunshine app. You install Moonlight from the Play Store and you make them kiss together with a pin, and that's basically it. And I just want to preface, this is a Windows 11 solution. In a future video, I'm gonna install Bazite on this, and that will be the final way in which I will use this device in my house. But I wanted to show the Windows 11 solution first, because this can also mean that people can use it not only for gaming, but also for productivity. You might want to have, for all intents and purposes, a remote, how should I put this? A remote work PC, which you can access from maybe an Android tablet, or a Chrome OS tablet, or a Potato tablet, or anything really. You have just so much possibility with this setup. So yeah, sorry, not sorry. Am I excited? Beyond all measure. Do I think that you should buy this mini PC? Well, I think that this is the holy triad of performance and power saving, like I said earlier, and cheap price. You simply won't find a mini PC that's as performant than this for this price. Of course, and I will hear someone in the comments say, Vlad, you can just buy second-hand, buy something with a dedicated GPU. You can find second-hand, Vlad, you can find a 3060 RTX GPU in the second-hand market. Yeah, you can, and that thing runs like a tractor. It consumes 1,000,000 times, metaphorically speaking, more electricity than this. This is sipping electricity like fine wine. You set it up, you leave it on, and you forget it. A big PC that you can find, which would be more powerful on the second-hand market, that consumes a lot of electricity. A dedicated GPU consumes 2 to 3 times more than this entire thing. Imagine that. So no, I do not subscribe to the whole use a second-hand PC build as a cloud streaming server. You can, I just don't think it's the ideal solution. I think there's a huge point of attractiveness in knowing that it consumes very little power. So, my dear nerds, just to wrap it up, do I think that you should buy this specific GMKTec K6? Of course, I've been parroting for how long? 21 minutes unedited. I might cut this video down, it might be 15 minutes or something, but I've been parroting for a reason. With some devices, I might be critical, but when I find something that I truly think is worthwhile for you, I'm not even gonna pretend to throw pros and cons at you. No, in this hobby, we spend a lot of money, objectively speaking, sometimes for worse things than something that can literally empower all other devices in the house. And again, you can just stick this to a monitor and use it as a standalone thing. Literally, creativity is the bottleneck here. So, my dear nerds, I wanted to brain drop this idea to you. I wanted to have this discussion. There's gonna be links in the video description to the GMKTec K6 if you want. And again, I really encourage it. It's a clever way. I think I need to double check this, but since mini PCs and smartphones are tariff exempted, I don't think they are subject to the same tariffs as handhelds. It's a clever way to get more bang for the buck for emulation. So, my dear nerds, let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. I read all of them. I am so freaking curious. Me, personally, I am ecstatic. After this video, after I publish it and everything, I think I'm gonna install Bazzite on this, and I'm gonna prepare it for its final form, and I'm gonna put it on the counter where it's gonna live for probably, I would say, years, or until I move out of this place because I'm renting. But this is gonna be one of my best buddies in the house. I'm not even sugarcoating this. This will make everything else, every handheld, more enjoyable. So, my dear nerds, what else can I say? Yap, 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 yeah, Vlad likes it. Yes, Vlad likes it. Me like it. I'll see you. I'll see you in the next video, my dear nerds. Bye.